Hey, what's up guys? John here. Nearly 12 states have just moved forward to increase property taxes over the last 48 hours.
Property taxes continue to climb.
With hundreds of commercial properties getting major tax breaks, residents can expect their bills, unfortunately, to get even higher.
Property taxes climbed well above 100%, and now she's been priced out of her home.
I'm talking about Tennessee, New Jersey, certain parts of California, Montana, South Dakota, Philadelphia. All of these different states are moving in this direction. Now, I believe 2020 and 2021 housing market boom was not a massive gift to the home buyer who got a 2.5–3% mortgage rate.
The median home price reached over $363,000 in June 2021, a 23.4% increase from 2020.
It was a great thing for them, many of them, but for those that can hold on. But I would argue it's the great gift for the property tax revenue generated through this, because these property taxes have soared ever since then. And the cities, the counties, the states are extracting every single penny they can off of this artificial equity that people think that they have inside of their homes. You start to look at really what's happening here. It's the greatest wealth play ever. They've said people's homes are worth $500,000 because Zillow and all these third-party platforms say that they are worth that. But when they go to list their homes, they'll realize that money's not really there. That $200,000–$300,000 in equity people think they have in their homes really isn't there for a buyer. You know, it's when they sign up and they say, you know what, I'm going to buy a $500,000 house at 8% mortgage rate and spend $5,000–$6,000 a month. You know, in property tax and insurance, everything, they're not going to do it, right? That we're seeing this right now. Home sales are plummeting. Mortgage rates are through the roof, and mortgage applications have fallen off of a cliff. So you think about who really wins here. It's not the owner of these properties with a 2 or 3% mortgage. It's the insurance companies and the cities that are just ripping every single penny they can from these property owners. Now in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what is going on, exactly what I think happens next, and exactly what you can do to make a fortune off this entire situation. Please hit the like button, hit the like button, YouTube will share this content, educate more people about what's really going on in our economy, in our country. We'd love to help fix your credit if you have any credit issues. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, any issue like that at all in your credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com, click the link in the description just below this video, schedule a free strategy session for sometime next week. Take a look at this. So Montana, for example, this 2 days ago, Montana's real estate bonanza turned political as property taxes soar. Their property taxes have already jumped 35% the last 2 years, and they're considering more property taxes. Then you have New Jersey. New Jersey blows up its property tax cap. So they had a former cap of 2%, which is probably the only good thing New Jersey had for property tax owners and business owners, because doing business in New Jersey is very, very challenging. Being a landlord in New Jersey is very challenging. Taxes are through the roof. The landscape is really bad for those that love capitalism and business. But now things are going to get worse, because it's going to go from a 2% cap that was in effect to they've destroyed that, and now they're able to increase local property taxes by up to 9.9%. Meaning they're going to go from a 2% cap to a 9.9% rate. So it could jump 400%. That's absolutely crazy, almost 500% actually. So it's pretty insane. Then you have this, Connecticut, Fairfield's property taxes to make the largest jump since 2019, May 22nd. So you look at this, May 22nd, you look at the date here, this came out May 22nd. So all of this last 24 hours, 48 hours. May 24th came out today. Property taxes increasing for residents in Black Hills region. Rapid City, South Dakota. Property taxes are on the rise in Black Hills, sparking discussion leading up to 2024. Some residents in Hot Springs claim their property tax increased 65% between 2023 and 2024. That's absolutely insane. 65%. It went from almost $700, a half, which is $1,400 for me. I know the neighbor over here, theirs went up $2,000 roughly from what they were telling me. The other neighbor telling me how much theirs went up. It was in the paper here in Hot Springs. From some businesses went up $500 a month, said Dennis Shaw, who lives in Hot Springs, right? And so you look like Shaw fears due to this spike in property taxes, he and his wife could lose their home. And this is the big question people have now. They're like, hey, John, I got this $500,000 house, 30% mortgage rate. I'm not going anywhere. What am I going to sell this $500,000 house and move to a dumpy little $300,000 house in a worse neighborhood and pay even more because insurance or because mortgage rates and insurance, everything's through the roof on buying a new home? I'm not going to downsize my home to pay more somewhere else. And so it's just the perfect scenario to just pull every single penny out of property owners for them. Marysville plans for a $500,000 property tax increase next year. So they're hiking rates as well. It's pretty crazy how fast this is moving. Tennessee resident, and look at the dates here. This came out today, 24th of May. Then Tennessee came out yesterday. Analysis: as housing values soar in Tennessee, property tax burden starts to fall more on homeowners. They're saying values grew 50% faster than commercial and farm properties, meaning even as counties lower tax rates, homeowners pay a higher share of them. So it's just look at this, like on average, residential property owners paid 22% more in real property tax dollars last year compared to 2019, while businesses paid 5.1% more, right? You look at it here, Raleigh, North Carolina, May 21. Proposed budget asks for increased property taxes. They're saying we need to pay city workers, firefighters, and police more in Raleigh, right? So one thing after the next. Look at Allegheny County, which is near Philadelphia. Allegheny, they're saying, look, Wednesday night was a chance for people to let Allegheny County leaders know how they feel about potential reassessment of everybody's property taxes. So they're reassessing it off of what Zillow and Trulia and Realtor.com and all these little estimates, these little online estimates of what people's properties are worth. They put in this calculator and people just pay the taxes based on this fake value. It's pretty crazy. It is absolutely shocking. We are losing population. You do this. You have 1/3 of the population whose property tax assessments go up. They got a $300,000 house paying $8,500 a year, $8,500 a year, right? Like, that's nuts. You're paying $700 a month basically to live, a little more than that a month just for taxes, not including the insurance, not including utilities, not including a mortgage. That's crazy. That is crazy. Like Florida, for example, their taxes went up in 2019, $2,200 a year to increase 50%, roughly 50%, about 45% to $3,000 in 2023. So you can kind of follow this. Charlotte up 31%, Indianapolis 18%, Kansas City 16.8%, Denver 15.7%, Atlanta 15.2%. I mean, look at this, for example. This property, this is Camden, New Jersey. If you've ever been to Camden, it's a disaster. I mean, it's getting nicer now. Like, they're fixing it up. They're trying to modernize it. A couple years ago, I mean, my dad's born and raised in Camden. I spent a lot of time in Camden growing up. These homes 5 years ago selling for $5 grand, $10 grand, $20 grand. Buy them for like a used Honda Civic. That's how cheap these homes were. Because the neighborhood used to look like this. I mean, when a dangerous city cuts off half of its police force. I mean, look at this, for example. Some of these, and all I did was type in, says Camden, New Jersey. That's all I typed in. And you start to look at this neighborhood, and you can kind of see what Camden actually looks like. These homes now are selling for $200 grand, $150 for like an absolute, complete gut remodel, $150. But a lot of these homes, $200, $300, this one $350, 1,800 square feet, $350,000 in Camden, right? So when Forbes is coming out saying, look, average home, in America is $495,000. People got to walk out of a $400,000, $500,000 home they bought with a 3% mortgage rate to buy a house in Camden, one of these other neighborhoods, for $300, $350, $400? No, they're not going to do it. So they're locked in to pay these taxes on this new value, right? It's pretty shocking. For example, on that Camden property with 6% down. So if you have $20,000, almost $21,000 in cash down, you're paying $3,000 a month. $3,000 a month to live here in this neighborhood. $3 grand a month. I mean, I don't know. For me, you could rent somewhere. You could rent a nice apartment somewhere else for $2 grand a month in a nicer area, right? Why would you pay $3 grand to live there? I don't think a lot of people will. And look at just home insurance. Between 2021 and 2023, home insurance premiums in the United States increased 19%. So you look at this situation. It's just at $495, which is what Forbes is saying. Forbes magazine, $495. What they're saying you would need with 6% down, you would need $4,200 a month for housing, just housing. That's insane. That is crazy. And then you look at the real situation here around how much money can be pulled through these sky-high values in properties. $363 billion was pulled, in 2023, up 6.9% from $339 billion. So they were able to pull, a quick $30 billion on this new value. If values fell to where they really are, I think most people can afford, a $1,500, $2,000 mortgage. I think that's probably comfortable for most people. Not $3,500, $4,000, $4,500 for the average person with record high inflation now. I mean, the cost of living is through the roof outside of housing cost. People can't afford to live for $4,000 a month. They just can't, right? But if that story was really told, it might cost them $50, $80, $100 billion worth of potential tax revenue, right? So it's a real disaster. It's a real disaster, and 89% of Americans are locked into this disaster because they have a mortgage rate below 6%. Unless they're, in a location like Florida or Texas where they have a homestead exemption and their property taxes are capped and they have a really, really good situation. That's not, everybody. Everybody's not in that situation. But that's something we could all learn from. Because if you can get yourself in that situation in the next year, next 2 years, you can acquire a property all cash. You can get it with no property insurance if that's a risk you want to take. I personally think in many areas self-insuring isn't the worst thing. But, some people might disagree. But if you self-insure, it means you're responsible for all the damage on that property if something does happen, but you don't pay any insurance. You pay no insurance cost. So if you can buy a property where your taxes are capped at 2-3% a year and you don't have any other costs outside of utilities, it's not a bad situation, in my opinion. I think we're going to walk into a scenario where we're going to see a lot of people forced out of their homes. They're not going to be able to tap into this, this equity, in many cases through a traditional lender. They're not going to be able to move anywhere else. They're just going to have to give the keys back. What do you think about this? What do you think about this massive, massive tax play that's happening right now? Let's have a conversation below in the comment section. And if you'd like to fix your credit, we'd love to help you. You can hop on a call sometime next week. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, any issue like that at all under your credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com. You can click the link in the description just below this video. I'll catch you next video.